Hi, I'm Claire Batista from the Claire Batista Golf Academy. We are inside today. It's the Midwest, mid-October, getting a little chilly, but we're also going to use the TrackMan today to show you some numbers and some distance. So today's lesson is about hitting that ball further and straighter with your driver, something we all want to do. The first thing we want to make sure is that our grip is correct, because we're really going to let our wrists hinge correctly. We need them to be hinging. And if your hands are on correctly, it's a lot easier to do. So left hand, if I'm a right-handed golfer, I'm gonna put the bottom of the club across my fingers on a little bit of an angle. I'm gonna make sure that fatty pad on top, the fatty pad of my left hand, goes on top. If my that pad is up on top, that gives me some leverage with the club, that I can keep that in my hands, and I can keep those wrists hinging up and down the way I want them to, okay? If I have the club kind of in that lifeline, it slips and I can't hinge my wrist correctly. So it's really important that we get that fatty pad up on top. We're gonna go ahead, there's a V that's created between your thumb and your index finger. That should point to your right shoulder. When we put your right hand on, the right hand's gonna cover the left thumb. There's a V that's created here. That's also gonna go towards your right shoulder. If we have your hands on correctly, then we can go ahead and hinge this club up the way we want to, so our wrists can work correctly. So what we're gonna do, and this is really important, especially if you have some range of motion issues, some bad back, knees, ankles, tight neck, where you find that you can't make big turns. And that is okay. We can still get some good distance. We just have to work the club a little more efficiently to get that club head speed. So what I'm going to ask you to do here is just take your grip, and we're just going to go ahead and put the club kind of on a little bit of an angle. So it's angled kind of over my right shoulder or towards my right shoulder. And I'm just gonna do that a few times. And my arms are pretty relaxed, my wrists, my hands are relaxed. And then I'm gonna go to the left, and I'm gonna get that feel. And when I do this, when I go to the right, what I'm gonna feel like is my right elbow is pointing down, which is really important, because in the swing, we don't want that right elbow to go out, and that looks like I'm playing the baseball or softball sport. And we want the elbow down. When I go to my left, I want my elbow down. So this would help those of you who feel like you get that chicken wing. So now what I'm gonna do is just take a few swings where I feel like the shaft is over my right shoulder, and then it's over my left. In fact, I don't even need to make that turn. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this a few times. Okay, once I feel comfortable with that, I am gonna go ahead and hit some. You can see here that I do have a head cover just over a little further than a grip, so like a grip and a half in front of my ball. And the reason I have that there is I do wanna hit this ball on the upswing a little bit. So with your driver, we are trying to hit the ball on the upswing. We get less backspin that way, and we get more distance. So that's the main reason we play the ball forward in your stance. But for this drill, I'm gonna actually start with my feet together. So I'm gonna feel like I can turn, so I'm not gonna be swaying into it. But it's also to show you that you don't need a whole lot of body motion to get that ball out there. And again, this might be for the golfer that has some physical issues. So as I set up here, I'm gonna go ahead and just swing the club where it feels like it goes over my right shoulder and then goes over my left. And you can see that my lower body's, I didn't get into a big follow through. I'm just letting the club do the work for me. Hit that a little bit on the downswing. I had 73 miles an hour, and the ball went 189, I think. Yep, 189. So you can kind of see that, wow, that's not a real powerful swing. I didn't have to swing out of my shoes. I'm really just letting the club do the work for me, okay, and letting things relax. I'm gonna put it over my right shoulder and then over my left. Again, not too bad. Still a little on the downswing, which I don't like, but 176. So a real good drive for me right now is probably 210 to 220. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but it is over 60. So if I can get it up 210, 220 and down the fairway, I'm pretty happy most of the time. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is go ahead and widen my stance. So I'm going to get into more of a normal stance. The ball's off the inside of my left heel. And I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit. So I am going to go ahead and let my body get a little bit more into the swing where I'm turning, and I'm getting into a little more of a follow through with my right foot. Now, there are people that I give lessons to that have neuropathy or don't have good balance. We can go ahead and just work on that type of swing where you're not getting into a full follow through. But for those of you who don't have those issues, we can still think right shoulder, left shoulder, or right elbow down, left elbow down, and we're going to go ahead and let that right foot turn. So that's nice and straight. I think it's a little on the downswing. Swing speed 77 miles an hour and 204. So a little bit better on the distance, and it definitely is straight. So as you get comfortable with that, and this takes practice just to get comfortable with letting things be more relaxed, where you're not trying to push that ball out. So I'm going to go ahead and do one more. Again, I'm not swinging real hard yet. Let's see if I can get this on the upswing. Okay, so that was better. And again, not real hard swing. You can see there that my attack angle is almost even, 76 miles an hour and 202. So pretty good there. I'd be happy with that, and it's dead straight. Now, towards the end here, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to start working on really trying to increase my speed of my turn and my unwinding, but I'm still right elbow down, left elbow down. And again, a little more on the upswing if I can. So I think it's going to be a little on the downswing, but nice and straight. I didn't pick up my attack angle. You can see there it's 77 miles an hour and 216. So I'm getting my distance. It's straight. I love it. I'm not working hard. So if you, again, grip first, and then shaft over your right elbow down, shaft over the left elbow down, and we just start hitting a few. Just kind of get that feel, and you might feel like, wow, I can get that club moving pretty fast without feeling that you have to swing out of your shoes. So hopefully this will help you get a little more distance with your driver and definitely straighten it out. If you like this tip, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'd like, drop me a comment, a question. I will answer it. And I appreciate you watching.